more hints at a Critical Role video game, D&D stamps, and a new chapter of Candela Obscura begins.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Welcome to Fantasy News Friday, our weekend look back at some of the biggest news stories of this week. This week, we're talking about a Critical Role video game, the new Baldur's Gate 3 patch, and Dungeons & Dragons stamps. Remember, if you like these kinds of videos, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so we can keep making them. Now, on to the news.
Check this out.
Candela Obscura launched their third chapter last night with a new circle of adventurers investigating a new danger called the Great Maul. Highlights of the episode include Liam and Sam playing a grandfather-grandson duo, and Noshir Dalal's character sharing a certain degree of tension with Sam's character. Also, Noshir's character has one of the grossest body horror reveals we've seen on anything from the Critical Role channel in a very long time. The new episode, like the rest of Candela Obscura, is fantastic, and you should definitely check it out when it hits VOD next week.
Yes, go, real!
In a recent interview with Dicebreaker, Critical Role's Matthew Mercer reiterated his desire for a Critical Role video game. When asked by Dicebreaker about the prospect of a new video game, Mercer said, and I quote, "The leap into video games would be an incredible endeavor and would require the right idea, the right development studio, and the right budget. I would love to see that in the future should all those stars align." Now, we will add that Larian Studios, the maker of Baldur's Gate 3, recently mentioned that they would start working on a new game shortly. So, it's not a huge leap to speculate that our theory, which again is more speculation, that Larian and Critical Role could be working together soon, that might be closer than you think. After all, the right idea, not that hard to come up with, the right development studio, that's Larian, and the right budget, hey, Amazon, write a check.
Money's no object.
Speaking of Larian Studios, Baldur's Gate 3 got another huge patch. In addition to fixing that game-breaking bug that we talked about in our last video, Baldur's Gate 3's new patch also adds a new epilogue in which the player's party gets back together 6 months after their adventure to reflect on their journey. The new epilogue apparently contains 4,000 lines of potential dialogue, which is pretty freaking huge for a patch released 6 months after the game's launch.
Yo, that's big!
More Lorcana drama as Amazon announced that it was launching a virtual queue for the sale of Disney Lorcana Rise of the Floodborn cards, marking the first time that a toy, board game, or card set went on sale through the virtual queue system. Keep in mind, this is something that Amazon has reserved for things like the PlayStation 5. So, buying some cards, apparently a very hot item. However, when it came time for the set to actually launch on Amazon today, that's Friday, the system simply didn't work. At the time of recording, we're still frantically refreshing our Amazon page. This game is clearly popular, and Ravensburger and its retail partners are having a hell of a time getting its cards to fans.
This is not easy to pull off.
The US Postal Service is telling customers to roll initiative. This week, USPS announced that it would release a series of Dungeons & Dragons stamps in 2024. The stamps use existing artwork from the game, focused mainly on recent pieces, but with at least one Larry Elmore classic, and will be available next year. Now, no release date was announced for the stamps, but I'm guessing this is going to be a hot set for at least some Dungeons & Dragons fans, at least the ones who still use the mail.
I'd do it myself, but I'm too damn old!
And finally, R Talsorian Games has announced its newest RPG, which was originally called Project Blue Moon. Cody Pondsmith is developing Shadowscar, a new game that will use a new system called the Mosaic system that's intended to be a little bit less crunchier than what we've seen with Cyberpunk or the Witcher game, and will focus on a high fantasy world influenced by Japanese culture and folklore. The premise of the game is basically yokai spreading across the multiverse after a cataclysmic event. So, players will be tasked with stopping these monsters and spirits as they spread to different worlds with alternate histories. So not only will you be playing in worlds inspired directly for a high fantasy setting inspired by Japanese folklore, but you'll also be going to like steampunk Europe or the Great Depression America and different areas and different histories like that. The game is inspired by anime such as Naruto, along with shows like Stargate, and will feature a bestiary that's bigger than the Witcher RPG's original bestiary. Now, the goal for Shadowscar is to be released in 2024.
Can't wait!
So that's all the news stories we've got this week. Let us know what your favorite story was in the comment section, and as always, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.